In the quiet town of Oviri, there lived a woman named Cassie. She had married a gentle man named Philip, a carpenter whose heart was pure and humble. Everyone envied their union, but what people didn't know was that inside their home, peace was missing. Cassie treated her husband like a houseboy. She believed that because she was the one with a government job, her husband was beneath her. She would shout at him to wash plates, sweep, and even cook, while she relaxed and scrolled through her phone, bragging to her friends about being a modern woman. Philip was not lazy, he only wanted respect. He loved Cassie deeply, but her constant insults cut through his heart like a knife. Each day, her voice filled the air like thunder, echoing across the compound. Even neighbors began to whisper. "That woman is too proud," they said. But Cassie never cared. She would boast, "If he can't cook and clean, let him go and marry his mother." And Philip would quietly walk away, swallowing his pain. One hot afternoon, Cassie's younger sister, Mercy, came to stay with them. She had just finished from the university and needed a place to stay while looking for a job. Cassie welcomed her with open arms, happy to have someone she could send errands. But Mercy was different. She was so respectful and kind-hearted. The first morning she arrived, she helped Philip sweep the compound and served him breakfast with a smile. Philip was shocked. No one had done that for him in years. Every morning, Mercy would greet Philip warmly, saying, "Good morning, brother," with a smile so bright that even his tired heart began to feel peace. When he returned from work, she would ask, "Have you eaten?" that while Cassie will shout from the room, "Don't disturb me." Mercy never planned to fall for her sister's husband, but she couldn't hide her pity for him. Each day she saw how broken he looked, and her heart began to care for him in a way she couldn't explain. Cassie began spending more time outside the home. She would go to parties, hang out with friends, and come back late, leaving Philip to fend for himself. She didn't care if food was cooked or not. When neighbors tried to advise her, she replied, "I'm not a slave. If Philip wants a housemaid, he should hire one." Her arrogance blinded her to the quiet closeness growing between her husband and her own sister. One evening, Philip came back drenched from the rain. His clothes were soaked, and Cassie was nowhere to be found. Mercy quickly ran to him, bringing a towel and warm food. Philip looked into her eyes, seeing the warmth he had long missed. "Thank you, Mercy," he whispered. That night, for the first time in years, he slept with a smile on his face. Soon people in the neighborhood began to notice how close Philip and Mercy had become. "That girl treats her sister's husband better than the wife herself," they murmured. But Cassie, blinded by her pride, ignored the rumors. She was too busy trying to impress her friends with stories of how she controlled her husband. She had no idea that her own home was slipping from her hands. On Philip's birthday, Mercy baked him a small cake. No one had celebrated him in years. When Cassie came home that night, she didn't even remember it was his birthday. "You and that my sister can eat your nonsense cake," she scoffed, throwing her bag on the chair. But inside Philip's heart, something had changed forever. One weekend, Cassie insulted Philip in front of his friends. "Look at him," she said, laughing. "A man who can't even boil water without crying for help." Mercy tried to fight her feelings, but love doesn't ask for permission. Every time Philip smiled, her heart raced. She knew it was wrong, but his pain called to her like a wounded bird. One evening, as they were washing plates together, their hands touched. They both froze, staring into each other's eyes. They said nothing, but their silence spoke louder than words. Cassie was later suspended from her job due to misconduct. Suddenly, the same woman who mocked her husband now depended on him for food. But Philip's heart was already far gone. Mercy tried to bridge the gap between them, telling her sister to apologize. But Cassie's pride wouldn't let her. "Apologize to who? That carpenter?" she shouted. "Never." Days turned into weeks. Philip and Mercy grew closer, and their bond became something deeper than words could describe. She encouraged him, prayed for him, and even helped him find better carpentry contracts. One evening Philip said softly, "Mercy, you've done more for me than your sister ever did." She looked down, tears in her eyes. "I only did what any good woman should do," she replied. One fateful afternoon, Cassie came home early and saw Philip and Mercy laughing in the kitchen. "So this is what you two have been doing behind my back," she screamed. Mercy trembled and fell to her knees, begging for forgiveness, but Cassie's rage burned like fire. She threw Mercy's things outside, and ordered her never to return. After that day, Philip could no longer bear to live with Cassie. He moved out quietly, taking nothing but his tools and clothes. The whole town talked about it, saying, "Pride has destroyed her home." Cassie's beauty faded with her bitterness. She became lonely, angry, and full of regret. But pride wouldn't let her admit her fault. 2 years later, Philip had built his own house and opened a carpentry workshop. He had also found peace, this time with Mercy by his side. They got married quietly, with blessings from their mother. Mercy treated Philip like a king. She never raised her voice, never disrespected him. Together, they built the love Cassie threw away.